Shall I tell you an old story? The dull fable of a nameless fortune teller. The secret tale of her and I. I was but a mere fortune teller on the street. My readings were renowned for their accuracy, so crowds would gather around me day after day. But a reading is just a reading, not a prophecy. It's nothing absolute. Nonetheless, not a day went by without a visitor who had complete trust in my divinations. I can't take responsibility for such blind faith. No future is set in stone, after all. The future is something we shape with our own hands. One day, the chief minister from the Church of Longinus paid me a visit. A rare occurrence indeed. The church has the teachings from God, so I would have never taken them as people interested in fortune-telling. She even visited me without any sort of escort. Such a strange person. What brings you to me, my dear? It appears you didn't come to simply have your fortune told. She was surprised, saying I was right on the mark. That was more intuition than divination, though. She suddenly lowered her head to me, begging for me to use my powers of divination to guide those who lost their way. I thought her to be yet another blind believer of my divination, but there was something peculiar about her. On top of that, to bear the fates of the world and the Wheel of Fortune at the same time. It looks like something interesting is on the horizon. I thought the followers of the church to be more of an obedient group that listened without question. She was different. She actually had a head on her shoulders. And she wanted me to use my powers for helping strangers, not for self-indulgence. A first in my book. It sounded as though going with her would be anything but boring. So I took her hand. As a nun of the church, I read the fortunes of followers who lost their way, advising them on how they could solve their problems. I was out of place for not having a shred of religious faith in me, but my life had never been so perfect. My fortune-telling and the church's teachings, these two things have made people not only seek salvation, but also work harder to earn the future they desired. This wasn't accomplished by my power alone. I'm sure I have her to thank. With her being one of the church's elite, there weren't any chances for the two of us to meet. But I still remember the loving look in her eyes. Some years later, I heard a rumor that she became the Pope. I couldn't expect anything less from someone of her character and ability. I think I'll go and congratulate her. I was entertaining the idea of visiting her, and she suddenly came knocking at my door. Use your damn divination to expose witches. That was the first thing that came out of her mouth. Who is this? She was nothing like the person I knew. It was as if some doppelganger was parading around in her body. but I only knew her from the few times we met. Power can change a person, though I was under the impression she wasn't that type. With those thoughts in mind, I obeyed the Pope's commands and used my powers to seek out witches. I found them lurking in places high and low, from hidden villages to even the church. I don't remember the exact number, though I wonder why she suddenly gave the order to search for witches. Something's amiss. But what? It was noisy in the town square. All the witches I found were rounded up. What was happening? As I stood there with my heart racing, the Pope quietly spoke. "Kill them." What are you saying? The next moment, the knights raised their swords in unison. The witch hunt had begun. It wouldn't be long before this horrendous act was repeated in every corner of the world. Was this the reason she made me use my powers? The reason she called out to me on the street? No, I remember those loving eyes. They're different from the eyes I see now, beaming as witches are executed. I'm sure her heart is. Wait for me. We've only met a few times, but I will return. My cards reveal to me someone else who bears the fate of the world on his shoulders. I will find this chosen one and come back for you.